All right, good morning. Welcome to Intermediate Algebra. We're going to talk about systems of equations. We're going to specifically talk about word problems right now, and we'll see how far this goes and how long we can get there. Okay, so for my class, this is the end of chapter 3 is what we're doing, and I'm just taking these problems out of another book. All right, share my screen. Great, and should be okay there. Blank page, that's great. Let me get my pen. Okay, got my guy here. Okay, have a little thing here. Okay, so what we have here, we have a store that sells cashews. Okay, this book was written a while ago, so prices will be reflected into the 2010s or whenever this book was done. Okay, so this store sells cashews. Okay, for $6.75 per pound, right? And Brazil nuts, I'm sorry about that. For what are we selling Brazil nuts for? We're selling Brazil nuts for $5 a pound. Okay, these are all in USDs. Okay. Let's see, how much of each type, okay, how much should each type should be used to make a 50-pound mixture that sells for $5.70 a pound? So how much of each type, sorry about that, how much of, why does this happen? I don't know. How much of each type should be used to make a 50-pound bed that sells for, what is this, $5.70 a pound. Sells for $5.70 per pound. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we've got how much Brazil nuts, how much cashew nuts. So we're just going to go ahead and label our variables here. You don't always have to do this, but I would recommend doing this more often than not. So this is pounds of Brazil nuts. Okay, and C will be pounds of cashews. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a moment. There we go. Okay. So yeah, we declared our variables, Brazil nuts and cashew nuts. So what we're going to do is we're going to have an amount. Okay, so this is just a total. This is number of pounds. And we're going to say that B plus C, Brazilian nuts, pounds of Brazilian nuts plus pounds of cashew nuts has got to be, how many were we trying to make? That was 50. Okay, and then this is price, it's cost, dollars. Okay, so we're going to say, well, Brazilian nuts were $5 a pound, so we're going to do 5B plus, okay, and we're going to have 675 cashews, right? 6.75C, and this was going to be equal to 570. Okay, so that's what we have. So here's what we're going to be dealing with. Okay, actually, I think what I have to do is I have to multiply this thing by 50 in order to get like the whole amounts here, because otherwise we're going to be getting like per pound, and here we have total pounds. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, well, if I just deal with like mix the whole bin up, how much the whole bin is going to be worth? Okay, so we have 285 here. Okay, So you have your options, and in this case, it really wouldn't matter so much for the option. We could say, well, we could do substitution, or we could do elimination. Okay, why don't we do this one on substitution, because we have this nice equation right here. It's just a coefficient of 1 on each side here. There's no extra multiplication things here. It's just 1b plus 1c is equal to 50. So which one do we want to do? Why don't we say that b is equal to 50 minus c. Okay, so this is equation 1. This is equation 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this equation 1, I'm going to push it into equation 2. So we have 5b. What was b? b was 50 minus c, okay, plus 6.75c is supposed to be 285, right? Okay. So this is going to be 250, right? 50 times 5 times 50 minus 5c plus 6.75c is equal to 285, right? Now let's go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, minus the 250 on both sides. Okay, so let's see, 285 minus 250 should be a 2 here, right? So we have 85 minus 50, so that should be something like 35, 25, right? No, 35. All right. And then we have 675 minus 5, so that should be 1.75c equals. And all I did was say, well, 6.75c minus 5c, and we ended up with 175c. Okay, and I believe for my class, this is kind of an unusual question because we don't actually have to scale this. They pretty much hand it to you, much nicer. But you know, this is an older book. They aren't quite so nice. So we're going to divide because, well, 175 times c. How do we get rid of times? We undo times by dividing. So we divide by that. So we get c is equal to, and there is no way I'm going to be doing this in my head. Okay, so we have 35 divided by 1.75. All right, we end up with, we need 20 pounds of cashews. That leaves, right, 20 plus the Brazil nuts is equal to 50 minus 20 minus 20. We have 30 pounds of the Brazil nuts. Okay, now you can stop here. You can say, well, cashews is, you know, we have 20 pounds of those, and Brazil nuts, we need 30 pounds of those. Do we want to be able to check it and put it in the other problem and see what's going to happen here? So we have $5 worth of Brazil nuts plus 20, sorry, what do we have here? We have 675 of cashews. So how about we do this? Where's the right equation? Okay, so this is going to be $6.75 times 20 pounds, plus and we have $5 a pound of 30 pounds. And we'll see what that is. Okay, so we're just checking it here. Again, I don't think you have to do this, but if you are uncertain, you know, this is always a good thing to do, is to double check. Clearly, they both add up to 50, so that's not a problem. Okay, but we also have plus 5 and times 30, and then we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. 285. What do we get for our price? Our prices here, 285. So we've stuck $285 worth of nuts into this bin, and lo and behold, we still have $285 of nuts into the bin. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so let's see here. Let me find another one. One of my favorite ones here. All right, if you're in my class, pay attention to these. I like these mixture problems. This was kind of a mixture problem too, but Okay, but here we go with this one. So we're going to put this ink remover stuff in here. We're going to etch, we're going to etch the graphics off here. We're going to use an acid to do that. Okay, so one cleanser, cleanser one, has 25% acid, right? And the second one, cleanser two, has 50% acid, right? And what we'd like to know is how many liters of each, how many liters of each one, okay, should be mixed to get 30 liters. And we're making an assumption here that one doesn't dissolve in the other one, okay, that is 40% acid. So making a assumption that you know, these are the same kinds of acids or something, or they're not going to react in any way. You know, we're not going to create like an explosive situation. We're just mixing two cleansers. Okay. So here we go. Now you can use any variables you want. We could use C1 and C2 for the cleanser one and cleanser two. You could use A and B. You can use M and N. It doesn't matter. Okay. But pick some stuff. Okay, so C1, C2 liters of cleanser 1, liters of cleanser 2. Okay, so that's something just to remind yourself at the end, like what we're talking about. So when you're working a problem out for somebody else, or maybe for a different class where they don't, you know, like they don't know what chapter we're in. Okay, they just ask you to solve it, like maybe for chemistry or something. It's always a good idea to label your variables and to kind of like put a little note as to like what units we're talking about. It's just a good habit to deal with. Okay, later on, you know, teachers will notice, your bosses will notice, your lab mates, your fellow students will notice, like, oh, you labeled your variables. I can follow what's going on. Okay. And you know, truth be told, sometimes you do this because you're like, I don't know where to start. So maybe if I start writing some stuff out, something will come to me as I'm writing it out. Okay, so it's a stall tactic too. But when you're done, it's always nice to go back and kind of see like, oh, what did I lay this out as? Okay. So we're going to have a cleanser 1, cleanser 2, and that is going to be how many liters? We have to get 30 liters together. Okay. Now, I like to put the percentage of the weights, okay, down next to the in the actual equation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say this was 0.25, 0.50, and 0.40, just to make sure that if I have any nurses in the audience, that they're happy, because I know they like the leading zeros, and I understand why. Trying to be better, I don't always put them in. Okay, so we have 0.25, the amount of acid here, plus C1, 0.50 C2 is equal, and I need 40% of 30, right? That's, I'm going to go ahead and show you the calculator, but it's just, you know, 3 times 0.4. So we're just going to get 30, we're just going to get 3 here, but 30 times 0.4. Okay. So there we go, 12. What did I say? Whatever I said, I'm glad I checked. Okay. So our two equations here, okay, is we have C1 plus C2 is equal to 30. And then we have 0.25 C1 plus 0.50 C2 is equal to 12. And I'll do this one with elimination. It's a little bit faster. But again, if you like substitution and you want to do it that way, don't let me stand in your way. Okay. Usually what you're going to do is you're going to find whatever one of these is lower, and I'm going to multiply the top by the lower number here. What if you multiply by the higher number? And it don't matter. You're just going to have an extra negative to work out, but it's not going to change the problem in any fundamental way. So don't memorize pick the lower. Like you're only going to pick the lower because it's going to be easier to do the arithmetic. So this is going to be negative 0.25 C1 minus 0.25 C2 is equal, what's a quarter of 30, right? That's an interesting thing to deal with. So a quarter of 30. Why did I stop moving? Okay, I think somehow I'm off. We'll see. Right. So this is going to be 0.25 times 30. Okay, and that was 7.5. So we're going to have negative 7.5 here. All right. And now I'll write down equation 2 right under it just for completeness sake here. So we have 0.25 C1 plus 0.50 C2 is equal to 12.0. We're going to add these. Okay, we're going to add these equations up. So these guys, right, this ends up being 0. They cancel each other out. 50 cents minus 25 cents, we end up with 0.25 C2. And I've got 12 minus 7.5. Fractions or decimals are a pain, so we'll just do 12 minus 7.5. Okay, 4.5, there we go. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by a quarter, 0.25, 0.25, and we will end up with C2 is equal to 4.5 divided by 0.25. You don't need a leading zero for calculations, but we'll get 18 there. Okay. So we've got 18, and now these were supposed to add up to 30, weren't they? So C1 is equal to 12. So we have 18 liters of the second one, right? 12 liters of the first one. And that is how you do a word problem with systems of equations. I'm going to stop here. I'll do some more, but you know, I don't want to make these too long. So we'll stop there. Okay. So stop, and I'll see you in the next video.